We consider this bar. It is having some length, diameter, and other things. Let me consider it has a diameter d1 here, and you have another diameter d2. Now let me consider it is having a length of L. So the length for the entire bar, let me consider it is L. So the thing is, it is linearly varying. So it starts from 0. Let me consider. So this is x is equal to 0. And this is x is equal to L. I am going to identify what is the diameter at this location x. So the first step is I want to identify what is the incremental value for this. So it starts at T1 and ends at D2. So, and the total length from D1 to D2, it is L. It is linearly varying. In that case, my increment value will be difference in these two, D1 and D2. Whichever is larger, we can consider accordingly. In this case, the larger is D2 and D1 is small. Otherwise, I can write it like this, D1 difference of D2, which means the value is always positive value. There's no negative values here. So whichever is maximum, you have to put it at the front, and minimum has to be at the back. So difference in D1 and D2 divided by L, right? Total length here, right? So this gives me what will be the variation. What will be the variation? So based on this particular length L. Okay. So now what I can do is, let me consider I am going to identify for this location. So for this location, my variation will be multiplied with x. This one multiplied with x. So increment at location x, difference in d1 and d2 divided by L into x. So which means when I put x is equal to 0, what I am getting here? When I put x is equal to 0, so we are getting every term as 0. When I put x is equal to L, you are getting d1 and d2 difference. Still now, I identify only the incremental value. So not what is the diameter value. So to find out the diameter at x will be whatever the diameter here, and from here d1 it is increasing. D2 you are having greater value when compared to D1. So it will be like this, D1 plus D1 plus, why I put plus is because this is my x. When x is equal to L, it is increasing. Since D1 is greater, D1 is lesser when compared to D2. I am increasing the value. So D1 plus, here I can put as D2 minus D1. Right? I will write it right because D2 is the higher value, D1 is lesser value, divided by L into x. So this will be my formula. Now if I substitute x is equal to 0, what I will get? This entire term will get cancelled. When x is equal to 0, you are getting diameter d1. When I put x is equal to L, what happens? d1 plus d2 minus d1 by L into L. So L get cancelled. d1 plus d2 minus d1. So d1 minus d1 get cancelled. You will get d2. So this is the formula to identify at a particular location. If I consider it's a tapered one, to identify what will be the diameter at a particular location, my formula is this, which is d1 plus d2 minus d1 divided by L into x. Let me consider for this one. Now this is my d1 and this is my d2. If I want, what is my distance at this location x? What will be the change in the formula? Because it is decreasing. Your length is decreasing. Here the length is increasing, whereas here the length is decreasing. So minus, which is greater value? D1 is greater value. So D1 minus D2 divided by L into x. So again, we put x is equal to 0, we are getting d1. I put x is equal to L, you are getting d1 minus d1, minus of minus, which will be plus d2. So you will get d2. So this is the term which can be used for this type of decremental tapered bar. So this is an incremental tapered bar. This is applicable only for linear variations. If it is parabolic, then the entire term will change. You will get d1 minus d2 the whole square. You have to identify what is the equation of this particular curve, right? And you have to identify based on that. Okay, so we no need to complicate that. So we will concentrate only for linear variation. You have a tapered bar. Let me consider you have a tapered bar which is having a circular cross section. Okay, so let me consider something like this. So here you can able to see at one side, so it is a value d1, other is d2. You have a force acting like this. Till now, whatever we discuss is a flat bar. So one side you will get d1, other side we are getting d2. So as like our mathematical procedure, if we want to identify something like this, what we will do is we will consider a small strip which is at a distance of x, and the small strip is dx. The diameter of the small strip will be, let me consider b. So what you'll do, you will identify what is the change in length for this dx. Then we will integrate it so that you will get for the entire tapered bar. So usual procedure in maths. So you will always consider a strip and we will integrate accordingly. So let me consider a small elemental length dx. It is at a distance of x. Okay. So let me identify what is the rate of change of diameter per unit length as we discussed in previous slide. So here it is d1 is maximum, d2 is smaller. So d1 minus d2 divided by L. So when I consider for the particular width, so what is the diameter at a particular distance? Your formula will be d is equal to d1 minus d2 by L into x. Okay. So what is this value? So if actually it is not d, actually this has to be b as per the diagram given. So this has to be b. So this can be b. Okay. I consider this d1 minus d2 by L as k. One constant, whatever it is. Later I can just equate k is equal to d1 minus d2 divided by L. So now let me consider d is equal to d1 minus k into x. This is the diameter at the middle portion, at this portion. Okay. So now let us identify what is the change in length. So your total extension, we know that it is PL by AE. PL by AE. Right? P is the force. Instead of L here my length is only dx because we consider only the strip. So my length is dx here, and you have area and E. Right? This is the extension at that strip, at that small strip. Okay. So now what I can do, I will just equate it. So just substitute the values. So P into dx divided by pi by 4 d1 minus kx the whole square into E. So this is only for the strip. If I want for the entire bar, what I have to do, I have to integrate. My limit is from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L. I want to start my limit from 0 to L. So I'm integrating this. Just integrate from 0 to L. So take all the common terms out. P is a common term. It doesn't have x value. So P, E, pi by 4, everything I can take it out. So pi by 4 I can write as 4p by pi e. So integral 0 to L dx by d1 minus kx the whole square. Okay. So when I integrate, so it is like integral x power minus 2. Right? We know that integral x power n is x power n plus 1 by n plus 1. Same formula we are applying it here. So x power minus 1 divided by minus 1. So 4p by pi e k into 1 by d1 minus kx under the limit 0 to L. Now let me substitute it. So substitute my L value and let me apply k as this one. K is d1 minus d2 by L. We will get this. Okay. So hope if I want, I will do it. So 4p by pi. So pi e k. This is d1 minus d2 divided by L into L, right? Minus 1 by d1. You'll get something like this, right? Hope when you solve this, you'll get 4pl by pi e d1 d2. Let us go for a rectangle. Rectangle, the formula will be different, a little bit different. So because we have area which is pi by 4 d square. So when I integrate it, you are integrating by using the formula x power n. Whereas here it is different. Okay, so same procedure. Let me go somewhat faster. So same dx. So here we call it as b1, b2, L, and same. Instead of d, we have b here. That's it. Right now, your b is b1 minus kx, same. Now area is, previously it is pi by 4 d square. Now it is breadth into thickness. Breadth is b1 minus kx into thickness. Right? This is the only change. Now again I can apply PL by E formula. You are getting something like this. When I integrate this, now when you integrate, you will get ln. Right? So this is log to the base E. Right? You will get ln, and your formula will be something like this. So this is another way. So this is for a rectangular section. So you can have a note. So for rectangle, the formula is PL by T b1 minus b2 into log or ln. I can also ln, right? So log to the base ln. Okay. When you integrate, you will get only ln. You won't get log. Okay. So ln b1 by b2. It is like integrating 1 by x dx. 1 by x dx is ln x. Right. So that is what you'll get here. Okay. Next is a thermal expansion. So when I consider any material, if I increase the temperature for that material will expand. So what happens is, so normally your material will be 10 or 100 mm. When you heat this material for a particular temperature, whatever temperature it may be, for that temperature, you will have an increase in my length. Your length will be 103 mm or something like this. So additional 3 mm. Del T will be additional 3 mm. This types of change in a particular material, we call this as thermal expansion. This can be identified. What will be this del T expansion? What will be the expansion? That can be identified by using this formula, by using alpha into del T into L, where alpha is coefficient of thermal expansion. Coefficient of thermal expansion. So this will be in per degree centigrade. If I increase 1 degree centigrade, what will be the expansion? Right? That is alpha. Right? Del T is change in temperature. So normally it may be 20 degree. Now it is 40 degree. So sorry, let me consider. So 20 degree and now it is 30 degree. So change in temperature is 30 minus 20, which is 10 degree. Right? That is del T. L is length of my rod. If my length is L, so for 100 mm, I have to multiply with accordingly, and I have to identify what is my change in length due to temperature effect. This is the del T, which means due to temperature effect. Make sure your material has to be homogeneous. What is homogeneous? It should be same. The property for the material should be same all over this side. It should be isotropic. Isotropic means your Young's modulus is same in all the 3 directions, which means x direction, your E is same, y direction, your E is same, z direction is also your E is same. There are 3 different material property: isotropic, orthotropic and isotropic. Isotropic is material Young's modulus is same in all the three directions. That is isotropic. Orthotropic is two directions Young's modulus is one. Another direction your Young's modulus is different. Example, wood with mica. If I consider a wood and I have a mica which is attached to this, right? I pasted a wood and mica. What happens when I apply a force? So my Young's modulus in this direction and this direction will be same. Whereas the Young's modulus in y direction which is different. So Ex and Ez is same, whereas Ey is different. That is orthotropic. Anisotropic, it is a composite material which has fibers and something like this. So which means in all the three directions it is different. So this del T is applicable, this formula is applicable only for isotropic and homogeneous material. So it is not applicable for other different materials. Okay. These are all some few applications which we use for this thermal expansion. So you have an iron box, you have a kettle, whatever we use here, we have a power cut chart. So you can able to see when you use iron box at a particular time, when your heat is higher, when the temperature is higher, automatically your power will cut, right? So there will be a similarly for kettle also, right? When it boils, automatically the power will go off. What is the reason behind it? You have something like this. We call this as bimetallic strip. You have one material here. Let me consider brass. Other will be copper or something like this. This two material is attached together. It is welded or riveted. When you have a heat, there will be an expansion in this bimetallic strip. There are two materials here. Two material can't expand something like this because it is connected together and it is welded. So there is no possibility of linear expansions. So what happens is it will bend. Instead of like this, it will bend like this. When it bends, so there will be a power supply here, right? Since it is bending, so bend on power cut. So that is how it works. So again, when it cools down, automatically it again comes and touches the power. This is how the mechanism for this types of applications. So most of the power cut applications is applicable based on this thermal expansion. So thermal expansion plays major role in engineering. Most of the applications we use this. So we will make expansion and we will contract it and we will use it accordingly. Right? This is one of the application. Other one is this. Let me consider you have a pipe. So let me concentrate on this pipe. So all the pipes has to concentrate on this thermal expansion. Right? So why it is so? Why it is so? So why can't we directly do this? Let me consider you have a tank here, two tanks here. So let me consider this is one reservoir. This is another reservoir. So what my plant is, so my fluid has to come here. It has to fill this, then it has to fill this, and then it has to go out. Right? Something like this. So what I have to do, I have to connect this with this. How will you connect? So let me consider the tube here. So the full light inga or tube. இதை வந்து நான் டைரக்டா இப்படி கனெக்ட் பண்ணக்கூடாது. அப்படி டைரக்டா கனெக்ட் ஆனா என்ன ஆகும்? Due to some weather conditions, thermal expansion in the tube ஆகும். So அப்ப என்ன ஆகும்? இங்க crack form ஆகும். இங்கெல்லாம் crack form ஆகி it will break. What they will do is connection will be like this. So they will start here, right? They will go something like this and they will connect it. So they will make a bend. So something like here you can able to see here. You have a bend here. You have a bend here. You have a bend here. So these bends So deals with thermal expansion, right? That is very, very important. What happens if the temperature rises due to some environmental conditions and other things? This will bend something like this. It won't create stress here. That is the main factor. So any power plant, you can able to see your tube which is not directly connected. You have most of the bends, lots of bends, right? This bend is to avoid expansion and to avoid stress developed on this. Okay, that is the main part. And so railway track, there will be a gap between two rails. There will be a gap here. So some gap. The reason is again, so when there is a hot temperature, when there is a rise in temperature, this gap will be filled. So there will be expansion which is produced. To avoid that expansion, that to produce a lots of stress in your steel rod, that will make more damages. So for to avoid that, they will leave some gap in the railways, right? Whatever it is. So these are all applications for thermal expansions. So what we discussed in previous slide is thermal expansion. So இப்போ வந்து இது thermal stress. Stress என்னன்னா first வந்து restriction in deformation. ஒரு டிஃபார்ம் ஆகாம ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ட் பண்ணாதான் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் டெவலப் ஆகும். அது லோடா இருக்கலாம் ஆர் யுவர் மெட்டீரியல் வாட் எவர் தெர்மல் இதுவா இருக்கலாம், இது ஒன்றா இருக்கலாம். ஸோ வாட் இஸ் திஸ் மீன்ஸ் தெர்மல் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்? இந்த தெர்மல் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் என்ன மீனிங்னா, ஸோ let me consider something like this. இப்போ இந்த மாதிரி ராட் இருக்கு, இதை நான் ஃபிட் பண்ணிட்டேன், ரெண்டு சைடும் வந்து ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன், ஃபுல்லா கேண்டிலிவர் ராடு மாதிரி ஃபிட் பண்ணிட்டேன். இப்போ இதுக்கு நான் டெம்பரேச்சர் ஹீட் பண்ணனா இது எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் ஆகும், அந்த எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் ஆகிறது தடுக்குது. ஸோ தேர் இஸ் அ எக்ஸ்பான்ஷன் which was not allowed due to what? Due to some restriction. So which means expansion due to temperature is restricted. So temperature la varra expansion restrict பண்ணனா வர்ற stress வந்து thermal stress. So stress is caused when you restrict the thermal expansion. Okay, that we call it as thermal stress. Okay, so what we have to do, let me identify. So let us identify a formula for this thermal expansion. I will show it in the next slide. Let me consider the first case. Let me consider you have an object here. I am heating this object. When I heat this object, what happens? This will expand. It is expanding to del LT. So this is due to thermal expansion. So what I am going to do is I am going to apply a force here. I am going to apply a force here so that I am making this del LT to 0. So which means I can say that del L due to temperature is equal to del L due to the force I have applied. Okay, so del L due to force is equal to del L due to temperature. So del L due to force is what we discussed in most of the classes in previous week, which is PL by AE. So this is PL by AE. Del L due to temperature is what we discussed in previous slide, which is alpha into del T into L. Right? I am equating this to. When I equate this to, so P by A is stress. P by A is stress. What I can do? I can write it as alpha del T is equal to stress by Young's modulus. LL gets cancelled. Okay, which means stress is equal to alpha into del T into E. So this stress we call it as thermal stress. You have two formula till now. One is del L due to temperature, which is alpha del T L. Now stress due to temperature is equal to alpha del T E. So one is L, other one is E. This is first case. Let me consider second case. Same one, right? I am applying it. So when I heat this, what happens is expanding to del LT. Right? Now I am applying a force. But my force what I applied is not equal to del T. del LT. I am applying a minimum force, M. So there is a gap. So there is a, even though I apply a force, there is a small del gap. So previously it is 0, now it is not 0. In this case, what I can do? So I can equate it. How to equate it? So force due to this, change in length due to this. So del L due to the force P plus this del is equal to del LT due to temperature. So this one is PL by E plus this del is equal to alpha del T into E. Sorry, alpha del T into L. Okay, so I need what is the stress. So we know that this is stress. So stress, I can't cancel it. Plus del is equal to alpha del T into L. Okay, so I need stress. What is my stress value? My stress is equal to alpha del T L minus this whatever left out deflection divided by L into E. So I'm getting a formula like this. So alpha del T L minus del divided by L into E. So I call this as without yield. Case 1 is without yield. This is with yield. With yield of del. So with yield means there is a gap. So previous gap இல்லாம ஃபுல்லா ஃபோர்ஸ் அப்ளை பண்ணா இது பாதி கேப் இருக்கு. ஸோ பாதி தான் அப்ளை பண்ண முடியுது, மீதி பாதி லெஃப்ட் அவுட்டா இருக்கு. ஸோ அப்போ இருக்கும்போது ஃபார்முலா வந்து அதுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி டெரைவ் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். ஸோ ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் இஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு ஆல்ஃபா டெல் டி எல் மைனஸ் டெல் டிவைடட் பை எல் இன்டூ. Let us consider this. You have a steel rod of 3 centimeter in diameter and 5 meter long. Is connected by means of a two grip and the rod is maintained at 95 degrees centigrade. So what happens is suddenly the temperature falls to 30 degrees centigrade. If that is the case, they are asking you to identify what is your stress and what is the force exerted. So when there is no yield, when there is a yield of 0.12 centimeter. So they are given what is the Young's modulus for a steel and what is the coefficient of thermal expansion for your steel. So this one you can able to see coefficient of thermal expansion is called as alpha. So you can able to see it is in 12 into 10 power minus 6 per degree centigrade. It means that when there is a rise of 1 degree centigrade, your steel will have an expansion of 12 into 10 power minus 6. Okay, multiply it with any of the length, whatever the length is. If the length is long, which means your del L will be higher in value. If the length is short, then del L will be a shorter in value, right? So it depends on that. Okay, so now let us consider the first step. So we consider without yield condition. So this is easy. So the first thing is we have to identify, for the formula we should identify what is del T. So that is important. So del T is, let me consider it is T2 minus T1. So whatever which is higher temperature, I call it as T2, right? Which is having lower temperature, I call it as T1. So don't need to worry about it's a positive or negative, it's just a difference. So higher temperature here is 95 degrees centigrade. So 95 minus, so it falls to 30 degrees centigrade. So 30. Formula is alpha into del T into E. Now what we can do, we identify. So you will get this. So alpha is around 12 into 10 power minus 6. Del T is, how much is this? It is 65, right? 65 into E. E is 2 into 10 power 5. right? When you do this, you will get what is the value of your stress, which is 156 Newton per mm square. I can also identify what is the force in this. So force is, you know the formula. Force can be identified by stress into area, because stress is force by area. So if I identify force by using the formula stress into area, area is your cross section area. So it is mentioned that it is 3 centimeter diameter, right? We can identify what is the area. So our area will be pi by 4 into 30 square. I am converting to mm. So pi by 4 30 square will be my area, and stress is 156. When I substitute, I'll get the force value. So load is this P by A. When I apply this, I'll identify the force value. This is my total force which is applied for this particular problem, which is without yield. With yield condition. So when you have yield, so there is a gap of 0.12 centimeter, which is 1.2 mm. So in that case, my formula will be stress is equal to alpha into del T into L minus that delta divided by L into E. So just substitute it accordingly. We know what is our del T, we know what is alpha, what is our L. So L is 5000 mm. When you write, it will be 5000 mm, right? And we also know what is the value of del, which is 1.2. Just a substitution, we'll get the value. So what you will get is, you will get around 12 into 10 power minus 6 into 65 into 5000 minus 1.2 whole divided by 5000 into your Young's modulus, which is 2 into 10 power 5. When you do this, you'll get your answer. It is around 108. So hope you can see this. Otherwise, I will erase this. So you will get 108 Newton per mm square. So we identified our stress now. So only thing is I have to identify what is my force. Same formula, there is no difference in the formula. So force stress is equal to force by area. So force will be stress into area. We can identify, you know what is the stress now. You can apply that stress and you can identify what is the value for this, right? And now let me consider this problem. So this is one application oriented problem. So you have a steel rail which is 12 meter long and is laid at a temperature of 18 degrees centigrade. Okay. So it is expected that you will have a maximum temperature of 40 degrees centigrade. In that case, you have to identify what will be the minimum gap between two rails to be left so that there is no stress formed. Second case, you have to identify what is the thermal stress developed if there is no gap. That is first case. Another case, if you have a gap of 1.5 mm. And you have another case, which is third one. What is this? If the stress developed is 20, what will be the gap? So from here, I think it is 12 meter. This rail is 12 meter and this rail is also 12 meter. So there are two rails, 12 meter. If that is the case, what will be the gap I have to give? That is my first question. Okay. So let us identify what are the data available and we will find out one by one. First, length is given. So length is 12 meter. So I'm going to solve this in Newton and mm. In that case, my length will be 12,000 mm. Right, meter I'm converting to mm. Okay. Next, you have two data. T1 value is given, which is 18 degrees centigrade. T2 is given, final temperature, which is 40 degrees centigrade. So I have to identify what is my del T. So my del T will be equal to T2 minus T1. Sometimes they will give directly what is your del T. So in that case, you can substitute it directly. Otherwise, you have to identify. So which is equal to 40 minus 18. What is the value? 22 degrees centigrade. First step. So I need to know what will be the expansion. What will be the expansion for this rods, right? So that is very, very important to identify. Okay. So let me identify that. So first case, case one. I have to identify what is the thermal expansion. Thermal expansion is del T, which is equal to alpha into, no, this is expansion, sigma T. Let me call this as sigma T or whatever it is. So alpha into del T into L, right? So this gives me what is the total expansion. So alpha, we know what is the value which is given. So alpha is 12 into 10 power minus 6 into del T is given, which is 22 degrees centigrade, into length. Length is also we know, which is 12,000. Right? What is your del T? 3.168 mm. So this is the gap which has to be here. So you should maintain a gap of at least 3.168 mm. Let me go for the second part. So second part is you have to calculate what is the thermal stress if there is no expansion on the joint, which is there is no gap, right? So first is thermal stress. Then identify what is my thermal stress. This is without yield condition. So we know stress is equal to alpha into del T into E. Just multiply, that's it. Right? Alpha, you know the value, which is 12 into 10 power minus 6. Del T, of course, it is 22. E, Young's modulus. Young's modulus is it is 2 into 10 power 5. So this gives you what is the thermal stress. So can you say me what is the answer? So we are getting 52.8 Newton per mm square. Second one, so they are asking if there is a 1 or 1.5 mm gap, what will be the thermal stress? Which is the given yield value, del is equal to 1.5. This is with yield. So what will be my formula? Stress is equal to alpha del T L minus that yield divided by L, right? This into E. So this is the formula. So just apply it, same procedure. So which is 12 into 10 power minus 6 into 22 into your length is 12,000 minus 1.5 divided by 12,000, right, into E, which is 2 into 10 power 5, right? What will be the value? 27.8 Newton per mm square. So this is with yield, right? So that is the second part. So no expansion is completed without yield, with expansion. So which are with an yield of 1.5, that also we identified. Now just another thing. So it is also related with this part B, right? So now what the question is, the stress is 20. If that is the case, what is your del? So that is the question. Third part, we use the same formula. We know that stress is equal to, right? So alpha del T L minus del whole divided by L into E. In this, now they say that this is 20. If this is 20, you have to identify what is this. You have to find out what is this value. Right? What is this? Okay. So just substitute it again. You just cross multiply and find the values. So what will get? So stress is 20. So 20 into 12,000 divided by 2 into 10 power 5. So I am just cross multiplying this. So I am just cross multiplying this and this one. So this will come to the numerator. So that is what I am getting here. So is equal to alpha is 12 into 10 power minus 6 into 22 into 12,000 minus del, right? So what I can do, I can cross multiply and I can identify what is my del value, right? What is the value? 1.968 mm. Can we proceed to the next one? You have just an application. I am just included that. So you have a wheel, a cart wheel, and you have a steel ring which has to be attached to this. The question is, in order to fix the steel ring, 150 degrees centigrade is being applied. So you have heated to 150 degrees centigrade. So this is del T. So del T is given. So you are heated for 150 degrees centigrade. So to fit a wheel, wooden wheel of 1.2 meter diameter. In that case, they are asking what will be the original diameter of steel ring, right? இது ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன டயாமீட்டர்ல இருந்தா 150 degree ஹீட் பண்ணா இத ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ண முடியும். That is my first question. Second, also identify what is the stress. That is my second question. Okay. So we will convert all my unit. I am going to solve this in Newton and mm. So what I can do? So I can go for diameter D, which is 1200 mm. Right? So 1.2 meter I am converting to mm. So when you look here, we are dealing with diameter, right? But so our del T, if I want to identify what is our change in length with respect to temperature, we use the formula alpha into del T into L. The L is important. Whatever we deal with this L is the length. Now, what is my length? My length is in the shape of a circle, right? In a shape of a circle, which means my length here is pi into d. Can anybody understand? Right? My length here is pi d, circumferential distance, right? So or we can also call it as 2 pi r, whatever it is. Right? Since I have diameter directly, I am just writing as pi into d. So let us identify what is my length. So my length L will be pi into 1200. So what will be my length? So circumferential length. So we are getting 3768 mm. This is my circumferential length. Okay. So now my aim is to identify what is my circumferential length. So before you are heating this, right? So for that I ought to know what is my circumferential length when you heat it. Then we can subtract it. Okay. So let me identify. So let me identify del T, which is equal to alpha into del T into L. So my alpha is known, which is 12 into 10 power minus 6. My del T is temperature, which is 150 degrees centigrade. And my length is 3768. So what will be my change in length when I increase my temperature to 15 degrees centigrade? So 150 degrees centigrade, 0.782 mm. Your original steel has to cover this. Your original steel diameter has to cover this. So if I want to get this, so after I heat for 150 degrees centigrade, I am getting this value. So what is my original steel? My original steel diameter, steel length.
L minus del T.
Subtract of this. So it is 3768 minus 6.783. Okay, this is my original steel length. So circumferential length. Okay, so what will be the value? Steel before heating, right? Before heating will be 3761.2 mm. So in that case, let us identify what is the diameter. So this is pi d, right? Pi d is 3761.2. So what is your d? Diameter of this steel rod before heating. We are getting 1197.2 mm. Or I can also write it as 1.197 meter, right? So instead of 1.2 meter, so to fit the wheel for 1.2 meter, so if I can increase to 150 degrees centigrade, my steel diameter should be 1.197 meter. Okay. The next one is they are asking to identify the stress. Stress is easy, so there is no difference. The stress value is alpha into del T into E. There is no relation between length in your stress value. Only your Young's modulus comes to the picture. You don't have anything related to length. So no need to worry. Just directly you can substitute this 12 into 10 power minus 6 into 150 into 2 into 10 power 5. Right? So that gives you what is the stress developed in the steel after it cools down. So you are getting 360 Newton per mm square. Right? So this is the